voice that India trusts.
Show me stocks from IT companies who have gained 20% in the last quarter.
Customize stock lists with advanced screeners only on accessdirect.in. Online trading simplified.
Welcome to the Davos debate that's happening right here at the World Economic Forum 2011. Several subjects there worth thinking about, but really what does India take from shared norms for a new reality? Let's bring you the who's who of India Inc. and what they feel Davos is doing for India. Hari Bhatia, let's start with you. What is this new reality and what are the shared norms? Where does India stand in that piece?
See, I think what we are talking about is that the center of gravity is also shifting from, let's say, US, Europe to even Asia. So I think that's where India fits in, because which are the countries which are growing today? If you look at India, China, maybe Africa is growing at about 5 to 6%, and Latin America.
Yeah.
So the new reality is no more that the West will decide in the future all policies which relate to business, or all regulation which relate to business.
Sure.
So I think India and China, as well as even Africa, will continue to play a bigger role now going forward.
How do you think this is something new? Because today, now it's been what, 2.5 to 3 years when it's pretty clear to the rest of the world, India and China are out there. They are the markets. So in that sense, the new reality has to be about how you extend this growth to become either more far-reaching, or you talk about leadership and governance. Do you think that's being actually paid attention to?
Well, absolutely, because I think it's clear that what India and China and some of the other geographies that Hari referred to need to drive a faster global growth. Of course, global growth had become almost zero at one time, 3 years ago.
Right.
It's likely to be around 4 to 4.5% in 2011. And hopefully it can get to 5% plus. If global growth gets to 5% plus, then everybody benefits. The West benefits, India and China benefit, because after all, Western growth is important for India and China. So we need to drive policies that clearly accelerate global growth. And in India, I think the one thing we're missing out on is the implementation of the goods and services tax. That will add 1.5 to 2 percentage points to India's growth.
And a whole lot of other
a lot of benefits, a lot of tremendous benefits.
You know, Windy Banga, back home, we've been just hearing about these two words, policy paralysis. And I know everybody in Davos says, look for the bigger picture or the silver lining. But the fact is, when you look at the India story, it might have been a fantastic story in the last decade and a half. But for us to say this a decade and a half hence, we've got to get our act together.
So I think that's quite an important point. I think India's had a great run so far. And we see a huge and exciting potential, because this is 1 billion people on their way to becoming 1 billion consumers. And I think that is the excitement that India holds. I think there are many challenges, as you said, Shelley, that India has to make sure that we deal with. And I think the biggest one of these is to do with food. You've seen the inflation in food prices. And all that I would like to say is this is not an aberration. This is not seasonality. This is a structural imbalance of demand and supply.
But are you disillusioned by the fact that the leadership at various levels has not addressed this in a long time?
I think that agricultural production in this country has been stagnant for 20 years. And we don't talk about this very often. But it is a really important challenge, because as the country gets wealthier, as we grow at 9–10%, our population wants to eat more and eat better. So they add things to their diet.
But you haven't yet answered my question.
No, that's why.
Are you worried about the solutions that we are actually looking for?
I absolutely am. I think that this is a challenge that will not get resolved on its own. The government has to lead the way in this area, because agriculture is not something that you can switch on.
Sure.
It's not price elastic, it doesn't respond immediately.
But Shelley, we must remember that Gujarat has had agricultural growth of 9 to 10%.
So you're saying if we want it, it can happen.
Definitely.
Okay, right policies can work. Mr. Deveshwar, you're very much part of that sector. And in many ways, you've tried to sort of reach out and see how sustainable could that be, but at the same time, it also has, you know, a far-reaching implications for corporations. How are you looking at this solution from India's standpoint?
No, agriculture actually is very central to India realizing its fullest potential of growth.